October the 1st is Too Late by Fred Hoyle. Fred Hoyle was not just a writer, but a brilliant and often controversial astronomer and mathematician who first attained prominence at the age of 21 when he shared the 1936 Mayhew Prize with George Stanley Rushbrook. Hoyle had a larger-than-life personality and a tirelessly curious mind. He was outspoken in his disagreement with some widely accepted concepts and was consequently blackballed by many in the scientific community. He did not believe the Big Bang Theory to be true. In fact, Hoyle was the first to publicly use the phrase Big Bang in a radio broadcast, during which he used it in a pejorative sense. In 1946, Hoyle authored a paper that laid the foundation for stellar nucleosynthesis. A second paper in 1954 took the concept a bit further. Then, in 1957, he co-authored the famous B squared FH paper, making himself and his co-authors famous in the field of astronomy. He held positions of honor at Cambridge, but left in 1973 after being victimized by internal politics. Both of Hoyle's parents were musicians, and the narrator of October the 1st is Too Late is a composer. Like the narrator in H.G. Wells' novel The Time Machine, this narrator remains unnamed. The narrator's good friend John Sinclair is an astrophysicist working with a team trying to understand massive data streams emerging from our sun, as if someone or something is using our local star as a galactic transmitter. Sinclair asked the narrator to tag along in his travels and act as a sort of companion journalist to keep track of the many events involved in their research effort. They go to an observatory in Hawaii to study the newly discovered phenomenon. After a short time, they were informed America is at war. Communications with Los Angeles have been interrupted. Sinclair and the narrator have trouble learning any details of the alleged war. That's because there are no details to be had. When they fly over mainland United States, they find nothing but wilderness. The continent appears to be completely undeveloped and uninhabited. They establish contact with London and fly there. London is as it was when they left. The scientists learn to their chagrin that though London is clearly on a 1966 timeline, the continent of Europe has somehow slipped back in time to the era of the First World War. Soldiers returning home to England from the war are traumatized to find their home has jumped 50 some odd years into the future. Even stranger exploratory flights find Greece has returned to a time more than 400 years before Christ. The entirety of Russia has undergone scorching heat, presumably from a future solar nova. The ground there is solid like glass. The narrator joins a team sent to make contact with the city of Athens in ancient Greece. Once there, they lose contact with the outside world. Whatever process repositioned Greece in time has continued, and now the researchers are trapped there. They had approached Athens in a yacht so as not to unduly alarm the natives. On board the yacht is a grand piano. The piano is brought ashore, and the narrator becomes a celebrity by virtue of his musical skill. He moves into an abandoned temple of Dionysus and loses himself in the composition of his magnum opus. Later, he visits the oracle at Delphi and is challenged to a musical duel by a priestess of Apollo. After the musical competition, the narrator awakens in yet another timeline. It seems the priestess of Apollo was a citizen of a society far into Earth's future, a time when humans have eradicated virtually every other animal species, except for insects and microbes. The future humans explain that humanity is likewise destined for extinction. A recurring cycle of rising and falling civilizations has made humanity weary and unwilling to continue fighting for survival. Given the choice of returning to his own time or staying with the advanced but doomed humans, the narrator chooses to stay in the future, while his friend John Sinclair goes back in hopes of somehow changing humanity's destiny. The novel is well written, though Hoyle's style is fairly dry and fails to engage the reader on an emotional level. I recommend it as a notable piece of fiction concocted by a brilliant scientific mind of the 20th century. Some of the novel's situations and concepts seem to anticipate ideas found in today's simulation theory.